Hey guys, this is Aller. I'm going to be bringing you some Rumble gameplay in ARAM. So as you can see here, the teams are pretty even. It could really go both ways. So I start off with a Hextech Revolver and 5 potions, as well as 2 in my Q and 1 in my E. The reason I do this is because Rumble's sustain is rather low. A lot of your damage comes from your skills. As you can see there, 2 and Flamethrower really helped out, dish out a bit of damage there to their Tristana. So yeah, as I said, a lot of this damage comes from leveling up his skills, not as much as the items. So by increasing his sustain, you can stay in the game a little bit longer before you die, and hopefully land some kills. So here we get their entire team pretty well low, but again, this is ARAM, so they probably have a lot of potions to heal back up. Well, you'll notice this game, it's kind of a poke fest. I mean, we're fairly even as far as poking is concerned. I do feel that we have the advantage when it comes to an engage. I mean, we have Jarvan and we have Rumble. Not so much early on, but later on, you'll see that our ults synergize rather well. As well as Teemo. You know, Teemo's fantastic to have on your team. I mean, if the other enemy team knows what they're doing, it's pretty easy to counter them. I mean, a lot of Teemos, typically what they'll do is they'll build AP, they'll get a Leandries, and that way their mushrooms will do a majority of their damage, and they'll just set them up in great spots. You'll find this Teemo does a very good job, and the enemy team fails to counter him. So, as you can see, it's a bit of a poke fest early on. We're just exchanging blows here and there, healing up from our potions. There's typically 2 ways an ARAM can go. One is first blood will happen fairly quickly, and subsequently kills will start rolling in. And the second way is kind of the way it's going right now. It's kind of a poke fest, sieging under the towers, just healing up, not really wanting to fight. It's kind of a waiting game until we hit level 6. Because once you hit level 6, I mean, the game changes completely, right? There's different ways you can approach a fight, especially with our team. I mean, we got excellent long range with Draven. We got Lulu to help us out. And then we have, you know, Jarvan's engage as well as mine. So you'll see how that goes. Typically what happens when it's like a poke fest like this is both teams will start to get pretty low. It's kind of a war of attrition. And then someone will decide to engage, and it's usually all-out war. Usually a lot of people will die, and that is the case in this game. So we'll hit level 6. It's kind of just waiting for the opportune moment. Draven sees an opportunity. Shyvana jumps in, don't really know what she's doing there. I drop my ult, and they end up coming out on top. Just fine. I mean, it's early in the game. They don't really have the minions to push or do that much damage to our tower, so not a big loss. I mean, it allows us to buy some items. So I buy my Sorcerer's Boots, and I start working towards Haunting Guys. The key thing when you're playing Rumble with a Hextech Revolver is to keep that Flamethrower on the minion wave. I mean, it's fantastic sustain. Not many people realize that. So pay attention to Teemo's mushrooms here. If you want to know how to play Teemo, really all you got to do is watch what he's doing. And so a big fight here. My Flamethrower just melts them, and we come out on top. But I mean, it is Ziggs. He'll be able to clear the wave rather well. I do believe we take out the tower here, and we overstay our welcome. So I use my ult to kind of slow down Shyvana, go back in, deal a bit more damage, and get really low. Shyvana's almost dead, I'm almost dead, and then Ezreal with the beautiful ult takes me out. So here I'm debating whether I want to go rush to the Leandries or if I want to finish off my Revolver. And seeing as I don't have the money to buy the Leandries, I go for a Spectral Wraith. Now that's a fantastic item. I mean, this game is about pushing in the end. So anything that'll help that cause is just something that you would want to pick up. Again, the sustain and the push power, it's a fantastic item. You don't see it very often. So here, me and Jarvan do massive amounts of damage with our ults synergy. We come out completely on top here. It allows us to get a nice push off and take out their tower. Unfortunately, not enough time to get their inhibitor, but we do get it halfway. So here, again, overstayed our welcome. And thankfully, Lulu and Draven managed to get away. They'll be able to fend off the tower a little bit longer. So once again, with those mushrooms, it's fantastic. I mean, what he's doing here is he's kind of setting them up for after they take out our tower, which is great. Here's a big fight. Lay down the ult, do some good damage. And then I managed to 2v1 these guys fairly easily. I mean, I don't know what he was thinking there. I can just melt them easily. We take out the inhib. And that's what you want to do when they have 2 resets on their team and they have a fairly late game comp. You don't want to let it go to late game. You want to push as hard as you can. You want to get those inhibitors. And as you can see there, what happened was I overheated. Thing with Rumble is there's 2 ways you can really play him. One is to stay in the yellow zone. Your fight power is up there, but unfortunately the fight duration, your stamina, it's not. So if you know it's going to be a short fight and you want to do maximum damage, that's what you do. Otherwise, you want to start the fight without any heat. That way you can stay in it quite a bit longer. Here, we just chase them off. I get fairly low. I got my Leandries now, so my damage is going to be significant. And Cat, I mean, beautiful ult by Lulu there. Again, Ezreal takes me out with his ult, and they managed to clean us up. I mean, a quadra kill on a Tristana really shows you why you got to take care of the resets. So here, Teemo's mushrooms are really going to help us. Draven misses, but thankfully he manages to take her out with the rebound. I kill Ezreal there with my ult. Teemo cleans up Ziggs there. And then we decide to go on Cat here. And again, I mean, there's no escaping my slow, my damage. Like once you get the base items for Rumble, which is pretty much Leandries and his boots, Spectral Wraith, whatever, then there's really no escaping him. I mean, as long as he isn't overheated, you don't really want to stand toe-to-toe with him. So pay attention to that mushroom there. It's going to be pretty significant later on. Big fight. And here I realize that I'm dying way too quick, so I start to build towards a Rylai's. I was going to go with a death cap, but I mean, survivability is more important at this point. I'm dealing tons of damage without it, without that extra AP. So here, look at the mushrooms. I mean, I can't stress it enough. If you are playing against the Teemo, do your team a favor and pick up something that'll allow you to see his mushrooms, because that'll end him. Here, Katarina goes in early without her team. I drop the ult. They're kind of spread out. Go for the cleanup, and this really allows us to push up and take out their inhibitor again. So again, Ziggs is alive. Katarina, beautiful ult, does quite a bit of damage to us. Scares us off. It's exactly what she needed to do. But the thing with ARAM is, when you're playing someone with the resets, you can't be the one to initiate. You have to wait for their team to be low, and then you go in and you choose your targets wisely. Beautiful mushrooms allows me to drop my full ult, no escape, and this is a beautiful way to finish the game. So we go in there. Me and Teemo decide, okay, we'll tank it. I don't think we have enough time to kill it. But luckily for us, our team manages to do so. And that is how you play Rumble in ARAM. Thanks for watching, guys.